Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, class. Today, my topic is about preventive pediatric. Firstly, introduction of preventive pediatric. Preventive pediatric child health depends upon preventive care. So, from the word itself, we can say that preventive means to prevent certain diseases in pediatric or in children. So, majority of the child health problems are preventable. Like what all child health problems are preventable? Like for example, malnutrition, vitamin deficiency, skin infection, common cold and cough, UTI, etc. Preventive pediatric is a specialized area of child health that comprises effort to prevent rather than to cure disease and disabilities. Here we will see that preventive pediatric mainly focuses on the efforts to prevent the disease and disabilities, not to cure disease and disabilities. So this is the introduction of preventive pediatric. Then definition. Preventive pediatric is defined as prevention of disease and promotion of physical, mental, and social well being of children with the aim of attaining a positive health. So, here in definition, what is preventive pediatric? It is a prevention of disease and also promotion of physical, mental, and social well being. Why? With the aim of attaining a positive health and also to reach the optimum growth and development of a children. Then aims and objectives of preventive pediatric. There are certain aims and objectives of preventive pediatric, but the first and the foremost important aim is that to reduce maternal, prenatal, infant and child mortality and morbidity rate. You all know mortality means death rate and morbidity means disease rate. So the most important aim of preventive pediatric is to reduce maternal, prenatal, infant and child mortality and morbidity rate. Then second, to promote physical and psychological development of a child. From the definition itself, it was written to promote physical and psychological development of a child. Then to improve the nutrition and health status of a children in an age group of 0 to 6 year. So preventive pediatric, the main aim of preventive pediatric is to improve the nutrition and health status of a children of age 0 to 6 year, to prevent malnutrition, etc. Then aspects. So these are all the aspects which we are going to deal. Then classification. So here we can see there are three classification of preventive pediatric. First, antenatal preventive pediatric. Second, postnatal preventive pediatric. And third, social preventive pediatric. So first we are going to deal with the antenatal preventive pediatric. Antenatal period means period before the birth of a baby or when a mother is conceiving a baby, that is known as antenatal pediatric preventive. In antenatal preventive pediatric, what is the main aim? Main aim is to care of antenatal mothers. So what all are the components of caring of antenatal mothers? First is adequate nutrition. Have to provide good and adequate nutritious food. Adequate nutrition should be there. Then prevention of communicable diseases. Communicable diseases like tuberculosis, hepatitis, etc. Then preparation for delivery and breastfeeding. So this is most important, as we have to prepare the mother for delivery process and also for the breastfeeding. Then mothercraft training. What is mothercraft training? Mothercraft training is knowledge and skill required for care of the babies. That is known as mothercraft training. Knowledge and skill required for the care of babies. Then second is postnatal preventive pediatric. Postnatal preventive pediatric contain 5 main components. Postnatal means after the birth of a baby. Then what all are the components? First is promotion of breastfeeding. Promotion of breastfeeding is first and the foremost important, as after the birth of a baby, within half an hour we have to do breastfeeding, and up to 6 month exclusive breastfeeding should be given to the baby. Then introduction of complementary feeding in appropriate age. Complementary feeding means weaning diet at the appropriate age. Appropriate means after the 6 month we have to provide, or we have to start complementary feeding to the baby. Then immunization. Immunization is most important. After the baby is born, immunization according to national immunization schedule, immunization should be done. Then prevention of accidents, it is also important. Prevention of accidents, and also growth monitoring and periodic health checkup. Growth monitoring and periodic health checkup should be essential from 0 to 5 years of age. Regular monitoring helps in the process of growth and development of a child. Then third is the social preventive pediatric. Social preventive pediatric, what it is written, it is defined as application of principles of social medicine to the pediatrics to obtain a more complete understanding of the problem of children in order to prevent and treat diseases and promote adequate health. Here what it is written, we have to introduce a social medicine to the pediatric or to a child. Why we will introduce social medicine? To obtain a complete understanding of what problems the children are facing, so that we can prevent those disease, or it will also help in treat those disease, that will help in promoting adequate growth and development of a child. That is known as social preventive pediatric. In social preventive pediatric, what we will do, we will introduce social medicine to pediatric or a child, so that we can obtain a complete understanding of what problems the children are facing, so that we can treat or prevent those problems, and will help in promoting the adequate growth and development of a child. That is known as social preventive pediatric. Then first is MCH. MCH means maternal and child health. MCH here, maternal and child health, refers to the promotive, preventive, curative and rehabilitative health care of mother and children. Here what MCH is providing? Promotive, preventive, curative as well as rehabilitative health care to children as well as mother. That is known as maternal and child health, MCH. So here we will see certain components in MCH. In MCH, what all components are there? Maternal health. They will see maternal health, child health, family planning. Family planning is most important, as it helps in birth spacing, and school health. Then handicapped children, those who are special, those who are specially handicapped, and adolescents. Then healthcare in different settings. In different settings, like in nursing homes or OPD or clinics. So these all are the components that come under the maternal and child health MCH program. Then what all are the objectives of the MCH? Then here you can see objectives of MCH. First, to reduce maternal, perinatal, infant and child mortality and morbidity. As we have seen earlier in preventive pediatrics aims and objective, same as it is here also. MCH will reduce the maternal, perinatal, infant and child mortality and morbidity. Then promotion of reproductive health, that is very important in mothers. Promotion of reproductive health, and also promotion of physical and psychological development of child and adolescents within the family. So these are the three objectives of the MCH. The next we will deal with reproductive child health, that is RCH. In RCH, what is RCH? RCH program is formally launched by Government of India in October 1997 as per the recommendation of International Conference on Population Development at Cairo in 1994. So RCH was launched by Government of India in October 1997. A definition of RCH you will see according to Fetela in 1989. People have ability to reproduce and regulate their fertility. Here, first thing is people have ability to reproduce and regulate their fertility. Second, women are able to go through pregnancy and childbirth safely. Then third, outcome of pregnancy is successful in terms of maternal and infant survival and also well-being. And fourth is couples are able to have sexual relationship free of fear of pregnancies and of contracting disease. So these four things comes under RCH. First, people have ability to reproduce and regulate their fertility. Second, women are able to go through pregnancy and childbirth safely. And third, outcome of pregnancy is successful in terms of maternal and infant survival and well-being. And fourth, couples are able to have sexual relationship free of fear of pregnancies and of contracting disease. This is the definition of RCH. RCH contains two phases, RCH phase 1 and RCH phase 2. RCH phase 1 was formally launched on 15th October 1997. Then components, here we will see components of RCH phase 1. There are many components of RCH phase 1. First is family planning. Family planning is very important as it helps in birth spacing, and different methods of family planning is also available. Then second is CSSM. CSSM means child survival and safe motherhood. Child survival and safe motherhood is also very important as it provides antenatal care to the woman, and it also decreases the infant and maternal mortality rate. So child survival and safe motherhood. Then client approach to healthcare. Client approach to healthcare is also important as it ensures to provide basic care to all the neonates. Then prevention and management of RTI, STD and AIDS. RTI means respiratory tract infection. STD, what is the meaning of what is the full form of STD? Sexually transmitted diseases. And AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. So RCH helps in prevention and management of RTI, STD and AIDS. Then adolescent reproductive health. It also helps in reproductive health of adolescents. And modified management information subsystem, that is known as MIS. Modified management information subsystem, what is it? It helps in gathering information, analyzing those information which helps in decision making of any type of disease. So it helps in the decision making. Then IEC and counseling. IEC means information, education and communication, and also the counseling of mother. Information, education, communication is very essential and is important as good communication should be there between the nurses and mothers, and counseling of mother should be done, and counseling of mother should be done. Then RCH phase 2. RCH phase 2 was launched in 1st April 2005, and the main focus of RCH phase 2 is to reduce the maternal and child mortality and morbidity. Main focus is to reduce maternal and child mortality and morbidity, and it was launched in 1st April 2005 with the emphasis on rural healthcare. Mainly it focuses on rural healthcare or at the village level. So the major strategies are three main strategies are there. First is essential obstetric care. Essential obstetric care means necessary obstetric care, which includes institutional deliveries, skilled attendance at deliveries, and policy decisions. Institutional delivery means giving birth to child in medical institution under proper supervision, and skill attendance at delivery means competent healthcare personnel should be there and should be skilled attendant should be there at the time of delivery. And policy decisions is also important to handle the situations, and safe life of mother and child should be there. So it is essential obstetric care. Then second is emergency obstetric care. In this, first is operationalizing first referral unit. In operationalizing first referral unit means CHC, community health center. So RCH will operationalize the first referral unit CHC, and will also operationalize the PHC and CHC, primary health center and community health center, for round clock delivery services, that means for long term care facilities. Then third is the strengthening referral system. So what is the meaning of referral system? What is referral system? Referral system is transferring cases which are beyond technical competence of infrastructure to other hospitals or other referral units. So here RCH will improve or strengthen the referral system. So these are the three strategies in RCH phase 2. Then breastfeeding topic has already been told, so we will skip this topic. In breastfeeding, WHO recommendation of breastfeeding is there, and then advantages of breastfeeding is there, in which three components are there: advantages to infant, advantages to mother, and advantages to society. This topic is being taken earlier. Then good attachment and poor attachment, latching on is there. You can see the picture, advantages of breastfeeding. I am a breastfed baby. Then these are the positions of breastfeeding. Then BFHI. In BFHI is also been this topic is also been covered. So BFHI, it is a global initiative of WHO and UNICEF, and BFHI was launched in 1991. Aims of BFHI is there, and there are 10 steps of BFHI. So this topic is already been taken. So we'll go to next topic, that is weaning. How to wean your baby. This is the most important topic. After breastfeeding, weaning comes. So here what it is written: definition of weaning. Weaning is defined as systemic process of introduction of suitable food at right time in addition to mother's milk in order to provide needed nutrition to the baby, according to UNICEF in 1984. Here what is the definition of weaning? Weaning is to introduce suitable food to the baby at a right time in addition with mother's milk. We will also give mother's milk to the baby, as well as weaning diet will also be there in order to provide needed nutrition to the baby. And weaning diet starts after 6 months of age. Before 6 months, we will provide exclusive breastfeeding to the baby, and after 6 months, after 6 months breastfeeding के साथ we will provide weaning. Then qualities of complementary food or weaning food. So here are the certain qualities. First, liquid at starting, then semi-solid and solid. Firstly we will provide liquid food to the baby, then gradually we will convert to semi-solid and then to solid. Then clean and fresh fruit should be there. Then easily digestible and palatable. The food should be easily digestible to the baby. Then food should be hygienic. Then easy to prepare. The food which we are giving to baby, that should be easy to prepare, and high energy should be there in the food. Then based on cultural practices and traditional belief, it should also be based on cultural practices and traditional belief, and well balanced and good nourishing or good nourishment should be there in that weaning food. So these are the qualities of the complementary foods. Then principles of introducing weaning food. So first principle is weaning food should provide extra requirement as per need of the baby. Weaning food should provide extra requirement, extra nutrition as per the need of the baby. Then second, initially small amount should be given to them to increase gradually in course of a week. At starting, initially small amount should be given to the baby and then should increase gradually in course of a week. Then new food to be placed over the tongue of the baby to get the taste of food and to feel consistency. So if you are giving new food to the baby, then that new food should be placed over the tongue of the baby so that baby could feel the taste of the food. Then a single weaning food is added at a time, and weaning should be started between 5 to 6 months of age, but breastfeeding to be continued up to 2 years of age. Weaning food should be started between 5 to 6 months of age, and breastfeeding will be continued up to 2 years of age. So these are the principles of weaning food. Then here you can see at 5 to 6 months what all food items we can give. Fruit juice 1 to 2 teaspoon at first. Then 6 to 7 months, here soft mixture of rice and dal, khichdi, pulses, then mashed and boiled potato, bread or roti soaked in milk or dal, and mashed fruits like banana, mango, papaya. These all things we can give at 6 to 7 months of age, only 3 to 4 teaspoon. Then we will increase gradually during a course of week, and also breastfeeding should be continued. Then frequency we can give 4 to 6 times per day. Then 7 to 8 month and 9 month, egg yolk we can give egg yolk, curd or kheer, or they also enjoy the bite of biscuit. Then 9 to 12 month, in 9 to 12 month, more variety of household foods can be added, and can eat everything that is cooked at home, but in a small portion. Then spices and condiments should be avoided. Add less spices should be there so that baby could eat the food, and no need of mashed food, but the food should be soft, and it small portion only contains. Amount we will see 5 to 6 teaspoons, and can increase gradually over a course of period, and breastfeeding should also be continued, and frequency will give 4 to 5 times per day. So this is a food chart of weaning. Then our next topic is ICDS. ICDS, full form of ICDS is Integrated Child Development Services. So ICDS was started in the year 1975 by the Government of India under the Ministry of Social and Women Welfare. So ICDS was started by the Government of India in 1975, and it was initiated for the welfare of children. ICDS was initiated for the welfare of children and also for the development of human resources. Then objectives of ICDS, there are certain objectives of ICDS, that is to improve the nutrition and health status of a children in an age group of 0 to 6 years. ICDS will improve the nutrition and health status of a children in the age group of 0 to 6 years to reduce malnutrition and also to reduce mortality and morbidity rate. Here in third point, to reduce mortality and morbidity rate and malnutrition and school dropout. Then to lay foundation for proper psychological, physical and social development of a child. Then to achieve effective coordination of policy and implementation among various working departments. Here ICDS will also achieve effective coordination of policies and implementation program among various working departments, and it will enhance the capability of mother to provide nutrition to the child. So these are the objectives of ICDS. Then beneficiaries and benefits. Here what all benefits ICDS is giving to the beneficiaries. Children who are below 3 years of age, what all benefits are there? Supplementary nutrition, they are providing supplementary nutrition, proper amount of vitamin, minerals, fats, proteins, proper supplementary nutrition they are having. Then immunization is very important. Then proper health checkup and referral services. Then children of age group up to 3 to 6 years of age. Children of age group up to 3 to 6 years of age, supplementary nutrition are provided. Then immunization, health checkup and also the referral services. Then adolescent girls supplementary nutrition. In adolescent girls supplementary nutrition is very important, and nutrition as well as health education should also be given to the adolescent girls. Then pregnant mothers, in pregnant mothers supplementary nutrition and immunization should be there. Then health checkup, proper health checkup and nutrition and health education should be provided to the pregnant mothers. Then nursing mothers who are breastfeed mothers, proper supplementary nutrition to be provided, and nutrition and health education should be given, and proper health checkup should be given. Then other women of 15 to 45 years of age, they will provide nutrition and health education to those women. So these are the benefits ICDS are giving to the beneficiaries. Then delivery of services are delivered by AWW, means Anganwadi workers at ICDS centers. Anganwadi workers delivered these services at ICDS center, and the population coverage is 1000. Then Anganwadi workers has 4-month training. Anganwadi workers have 4-month training before delivering the services at the ICDS center. Then activities of every 20 to 25 Anganwadi workers are supervised by Mukhya Sevikas. So activities of every 20 to 25 Anganwadi workers are being supervised by Mukhya Sevikas, and also the supervisors are being supervised by CDPO. The full form of CDPO is Child Development Project Officer. Then symbol of under 5 clinic. Here you can see symbol of under 5 clinic, where family planning is in the middle. Then care of illness, growth monitoring and preventive care. In care of illness, it is a mother felt need, and 70 to 80% of illness can be treated with trained nurses. So mainly diagnosis and treatment of acute illness or chronic illness and disorders of growth and development is included here, and X-ray and lab services and referral services included in the care of illness. Then preventive care. In preventive care, immunization and nutritional surveillance should be there, and health checkup every 3 to 6 months health checkup should be there, and also health card should be maintained. Then health education can be provided, family planning is included, and oral rehydration therapy should be given for the diarrhea. So these all comes under the preventive care. And last is growth monitoring. Growth monitoring also called as road to health card. In growth monitoring, up to 1 year of age, every month growth monitoring should be there, and up to 2 years of age, 2 monthly, 2 month growth monitoring should be there, and up to 5 years of age, up to 5 years, 3 month growth monitoring should be there. So growth monitoring is very essential, as it is a road to health success. Then immunization is already being done. uh, this is a immunization definition. It is a process where a person is made immune or resistant by infectious diseases, typically by administration of vaccines. Then immunization schedules are there. Immunization topic is already been taken. Then our next topic is school health services. School health services, it is a very important topic. School health services. School health services provided to improve health and well-being of children. That is known as school health services, where services are provided to improve health and well-being of our children. Here we can see three aspects of school health services: appraisal aspect, preventive aspects, and curative aspects. Appraisal aspects here, these are organized activities carried out to assess the physical, mental, emotional, and social status of the school pupil, that is school students. So in appraisal aspects, what we can see, these are the organized activities which are carried out to assess the physical, mental, emotional, and social status of school children. Components, here we can see various components of the appraisal: history of illness, then observations or checkups are there, then screening test means checkup of eye, ear, nose or throats, and examination of heart, lungs, lymph nodes, etc. And laboratory investigation means investigation of blood or urine. So these are the components of appraisal. Then preventive aspect, from the word itself we can see preventive, to prevent. The prevention and control of communicable diseases like tuberculosis, hepatitis. So prevention and control of communicable diseases. Then second is early detection and correction of non-communicable diseases. So here non-communicable diseases like any type of heart disease or lung disease, so early detection and correction should be there of non-communicable diseases. Then early identification and education of children with special disabilities. For example, we can say blind children, blindness, or children with mental illness, or with any type of learning disabilities. Their early identification and education should be provided to those children. Then emergency care and first aid services. Emergency care, at a time patient is having any type of illness or injury, or basic medical care is provided. So these are the preventive aspects. And the last and the third one is curative aspect. Curative aspects, here school health program provide curative services to the school children. Curative services are provided in school clinics, provided by journal practitioners, GP, and also number of affiliated hospitals and services. Curative aspects, it aims at preventing the disease through immunization or through exercise or through proper diet. So this is the curative aspect. Then school health education. It is given in school by school health personnel, and the methods are formal health education. In formal health education improves knowledge and develop the life skills. And also correlated or integrated health education. Correlated and integrated health education bring together knowledge, experiences and ideas. And incidental health education, that is unplanned or unintended health education. Then healthful school environment include two things, that is psychological and emotional environment and physical environment. So physical environment is very simple. Physical setup should be there, like classroom, ventilators, light, fans, furniture, play facilities, garbage disposal. So this is the physical environment or physical setup. Then psychosocials. In psychosocial, what it includes? It includes school schedules, what are the schedules of the schools and duration and timing of the school, when the school will be start, when the school will end, and the amount and timing of the homeworks, and also the most important is teacher student relationship and student student relationship, that is important. So these are the two components of a healthful school environment. Then our next topic is early child, that is child delinquency, we can say. Here what it is written, delinquent is a child who has committed an offense. When we say a child is delinquent, when a child has committed any type of offense or any type of mistake. And juvenile, what is the meaning of juvenile? Juvenile means a boy who has not attained the age of 16 years and a girl who has not attained the age of 18 years. So that is known as juvenile. Causes. What can be the causes of a juvenile delinquency act? So there are three causes: biological, social, and other causes. In biological causes, like broken homes, if children have broken homes, poverty, or if parents are neglecting the children, so this can come under biological source. Then social causes, like any type of peer pressure is there in children, or neighborhood influence. And then also if children is facing any type of school problem or poor education, that comes under the social causes. And also others, in other causes, any type of physical abuse or economical problem is there, or any type of substance abuse, that comes under the others. So these are the main causes of a child delinquency act or elite child. Then preventive measures. What preventive measures we can take to prevent that thing? The improvement of family, that is functional family therapy should be provided in the family. Then life schooling, then classroom and behavior management program should be organized. And social welfare, like quality care in society. Then um, we can counsel the parents for any type of neglect of the children or any type of physical abuse, that thing. So these are the preventive measures of elite child. And child abuse, this topic has already been taken. Child abuse is also known as battered baby syndrome. This topic is taken. Here you can see the picture, stop child abuse. Then street children. Street children, what do you understand by street children? A large number of children live and work on a streets. Here children, a poor children or a homeless children, large number of children who are living or working on a street, that is known as a street children. At risk of what type of risk are there in those children, street children? Risk of malnutrition, or HIV can be there, or any type of skin disease, drug abuse, or prostitution, etc. So they are risk of these type of diseases. Then a question came in mind: why children end up in streets? What can be the cause if that children are end up in streets? Low education, or poor economic condition, or if parental divorce is there, or any type of cultural reasons, or if any influence by friends, or any type of mental problem child is facing, or if child has recently loses his parents. So these are the causes of the street children. Then what prevention we can do? What preventive measures? Rehabilitation by government and non-government, and also certain voluntary agencies are there for these type of children. Then counseling centers, and also free education should be there. And facilitating adoption of street children, this is very important. facilitating adoption of street children should be there, and job opportunity should also be provided to those street children. So these are the preventions we can provide to street children. Then child labor. Child labor. What is child labor? Child labor is work for children that harms them or exploit them physically, mentally, morally, or blocking access to education. Child labor means work for children. Children are working before the age of 14 years. And what can be the causes of this? Poverty, low socioeconomic condition of their parents, or unemployment of their parents, or lack of education, or overpopulation, or high amount of education, high amount of living cost, and then illiteracy. So that are the causes of child labor. According to Child Labor Act in 1986, that launched in 23rd December 1986, no child below age of 14 years shall be employed to work. Except we can see if child is doing any family based work or any school based activities, so that is okay, but but child should not be employed to any type of uh, work before the age of 14 years. Then what are some solutions to child labor? What are the preventive measures? What we can do? We can improve or increase the family income of their parents, or education. We can provide them free education so that children will learn the skill that will help them earn a living. Then social services that helps the children and families that helps the children and families survive crisis, that will help them in survive crisis such as disease or loss of home and shelter. So social services that can be provided, and family control of fertility, so that families are not burdened by children. So these are some of the preventive measures of the child labor. Then CGC means Child Guidance Clinic. Here CGC, definition of CGC, Child Guidance Clinic. Child Guidance Clinic are specialized clinic that deal with children of normal and abnormal intelligence. Here Child Guidance Clinic deal with the children of normal and abnormal intelligence, exhibiting a range of behavior and psychological problems which are summed up as maladjustment. Here, Child Guidance Clinic are dealing with the children of normal and abnormal intelligence, which exhibit a range of behavior and psychological problems which are totally summed up as a maladjustment. So, Child Guidance Clinic are dealing with the children of maladjustment. Child Guidance Team. Child guidance team, what are the team? A psychiatrist, a clinical psychologist, a social worker, a pediatrician, a speech therapist, occupational therapist, and neurologist. These are the child guidance team. Treatment, how we can provide treatment? The treatment of child by providing psychotherapy, by providing play therapy, or if any type of physical illness is present, then if then in family also, if child is there, then we can provide group therapy, or we can provide speech therapy, occupational therapy. That's why child guidance team is there to provide treatment to those kind of children. So this is CGC. Then then the next topic is international and national welfare organization. So international, there are certain international organizations like everyone know WHO. WHO means World Health Organization. WHO is the specialized non-political health agencies of United Nations, and it is established on 7th April 1948, and the headquarter of WHO is in Geneva. Then objective of WHO was health for all. Then what are the functions that are included in WHO? What functions WHO are providing? Prevention and control of specific diseases. It prevent and control specific diseases. Then develop comprehensive health services. Comprehensive health services mean complete range of health services. Then family health services. Family health services means it provides family oriented primary care. Then environmental health services, which deals with human health and disease population. Then health statistics. Health statistics means health data related to morbidity, mortality, etc. Then biomedical research. In biomedical research, any type of experiments, observations, lab works, or mm, any type of analysis, testing, that comes under the biomedical research. Then health literature and information, provide basic health information and cooperation with other organizations. So these are the functions WHO are providing. Then second is UNICEF. Full form of UNICEF: United Nations International Child Emergency Fund. It is the full form of UNICEF, United Nations International Child Emergency Fund. Then it is established in 11 December 1946 by United Nations General Assembly. Objective: the main objective is rehabilitation of children under ravaged countries. Ravaged country means countries who are severely damaged. So rehabilitations of those children should be there. Then functions like improvement of child health or child nutrition, family and child welfare is there, and formal and non-formal education. Formal and non-formal education means systematic learning or learning with the education. So these are the functions UNICEF is providing. And also GOBI, the full form is growth monitoring, oral rehydration, breastfeeding and immunization. These 4 components is also included in the UNICEF. Then UNDP. UNDP means full form of UNDP is United Nations Development Program. It was launched in 1966, and the main component or main objective of UNDP is it helps the children of poor nation, it provides education to those children, it protects the environment, and also it reduces the vulnerabilities. So these are the main objectives of the UNDP. Then the next is USAID. USAID full form is United States Agency for International Development. United States Agency for International Development. It is established in 3rd November 1961 in New Delhi. Headquarter is Washington DC, United States. And main functions of USAID is immunization program, oral rehydration therapy, family planning program, and water supply and sanitation. Then next is UNESCO. UNESCO, full form of UNESCO is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It was established in the year 1945, and the main function of UNESCO is early childhood literacy training for girls, women and also the handicapped, helps in eradicate literacy, and also launch continue education, provide universal quality primary education to the girls, women and handicapped. So these are the functions of UNESCO. And the last one is care. Definition of care is cooperative for assistance relief. Cooperative for assistance relief. It was established in the year 1945 in North America and in 1950 in India. The main objective of care is to provide food for children. Until 1980s, provide food for children till age group of 0 to 6 year, and from mid 1980s it support ICDS, then health development program and income supplementation facilities. So these are the main objectives of the care. So these are all the international organization. Then we will go to national organization. Firstly we have seen international organization, then we will go to national organization in India. First is Indian Council for Children Welfare, ICCW. Indian Council for Children Welfare. It is established in the year 1952 and the headquarters is in Chennai, and it is devoted to secure the Indian children by how it will secure the Indian children by initiating services for child welfare and development, services like family centered adoption, foster care services. So by initiating the services for child and welfare development, then promoting the enactment of legislation and reforms to meet the needs of children. Enactment means passing of legislation and reforms to meet the needs of education. So these are the main objectives of the ICCW. Then second is Central Social Welfare Board, CSWB, Central Social Welfare Board. It was organized by Government of India in August 1953. It initiated two main things. First is family and child welfare services in 1968, and second is activities in rural areas. So in activities in rural areas there are several components like teaching craft. Teaching craft contains skill learning experiences or social education about political, economy and cultural surroundings. Then distribution of milks. Then balwadis means preschool that run for economically poor and weaker section of societies, that is known as balwadis. Then organization of play centers. So these are the activities that come under the rural areas. Then third is KGNMT. KGNMT full form is Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Trust. Kasturba Gandhi National Memorial Trust was established or organized in the year 1994, and the main objective is to improve improvement of women and children. They established for the improvement of women and children, what they have done, they established hospitals, they established dispensaries. Dispensaries means a place where medicines are prepared. Then cottage industries means small business, and training campaigns, first aid, home nursing. So these are the objectives that helps in improvement of women and children. Then the last is Indian Red Cross Society. Indian Red Cross Society was established in the year 1920, and the main objectives of Indian Red Cross Society is improvement of health, prevention of disease and mitigation of suffering among the people, that is reducing the suffering of the people. So these are the three main objectives of the Indian Red Cross Society. And also functions, what all functions are there of Indian Red Cross Society? Relief work, milk and medical supply, armed forces, maternal and child welfare services, family planning, and blood bank and first aid. So these are the functions Indian Red Cross Society are giving. Then at the last, role of a nurse. Everybody know role of a nurse. We will deal it in short. Primary caregiver. Nurse is a primary caregiver which provide preventive, promotive, curative and rehabilitative care in all levels of health services, care of children in comfort, feeding, bathing, safety, etc. So a nurse is a primary caregiver. Then health educator. Why health educator? Nurse deliver planned and incidental health teachings and inform to the parents and significant others, and also create the awareness about lifestyle and practicing regarding child care. So a nurse is a health educator. Counselor. Nurse help the parents and family members for independent decision making in different situations and counsel them. Problem solving approach. Then social worker. Social worker, a nurse is a social worker as it alleviates the social problem related to child care, refer the child and family for support, social support, and participate in social services. Then team coordinator. Nurse must be a team coordinator, work along with other health team members, other staffs, and maintain a good IPR, good interpersonal relationship with them, and coordinate the nursing services for the child. So these are the mm, um, these are the role of nurse. Manager. Nurse should be a manager. It organizes the care for successful outcome in the pediatric care unit, hospitals, clinics, and also community. Then therapeutic nurse. Therapeutic nurse, establishment of therapeutic relationship should be there, and she should identify the problem areas in their interaction with the family and child. So these are the role of nurse. There are certain many role of nurse is also there. So here my topic preventive pediatric is completed. Thank you.